Okay, let's get into some container. Very flexible growing system containers. Now what separates this from beds? Containers have bottoms in them. The concept's the same. You elevate the soil so you get drainage, but containers have bottoms. So they're more susceptible to overwatering because they don't drain quite as well. So you want to make sure that your soil mix, your growing mix, is appropriate. Typically something like 1 part bark, 1 part peat, 1 part soil, sandy soil, would be a good mix for these. But the bottom line here is look at all these different types of containers that you can grow in. Different sizes, different materials. This is just some old tin horns. I say old, it's actually got a plastic liner inside. Very nice beds. They all have drain holes in the bottom of them. Here's some 5-gallon buckets with cucumbers, some water troughs, some tanks, livestock. Again, elevate the soil so you get some drainage, easier to work with. The old whiskey barrel, wow, nostalgic. What about all types of plastic containers, trash cans, totes, bins? Issue here is if these sit out in the sun, they're going to crack. They're not going to last a long time unless they are actually made for outside use. They have carbon black or some type of a ultraviolet inhibitor additive to them. If you really want to get back to the basics, don't empty the mix from the container. Just cut holes in it. Stick your plants in it. This is common practice commercially. You can purchase commercial growing mixes like this, or simply use some Miracle Grow or Hyponex potting soil in this fashion. You still have to cut drain holes, guys, right? It fills up. It's a bathtub. So, and then you're going to have to, depending on what's in it, you're going to have to add nutrients. But pretty cool thing. You notice these are on pallets. You can move them around if you want to. 55-gallon plastic drums cut in half. Fences, sides of buildings, anything you can hang a container on, use it, you know, and you just have to put an emitter up there. Okay, this is what I'm really excited about. This is a kind of a revolutionary way to grow things in a container. These are fabric bags. They're geotextiles, mixture of nylon, propylene, all kinds of things that won't break down in the sun. They're woven together tightly, and they're fabric. You put your growing mix in them, and what sets this apart from a plastic container is that these breathe. And the water will actually move out through this membrane, if you will, and as the water moves out through this porous material, evaporates, guess what happens? Cools the growing mix. It cools the container. Even though it's black, it will tend to keep the growing mix cooler. And that's what's the problem with most containers in the summer in Oklahoma. They get too hot. The growing mix can get above 85, 90 degrees, stresses the root system. And you notice out on the top of the plant. So these are available. You can buy these on a commercial basis in volume, or you can buy them at a garden center, order them online. I would encourage you to try these. Really, really neat growing system. And also another thing that sets these apart is because the roots grow into this fabric, they prune, the tips prune, and you get this proliferation of lateral roots. You get a very fine root system, very abundant fibrous root system that increases the exchange and the capacity of the root system, so it can take up more and it gives off more the types of materials that will encourage microbiological life in the soil, okay? They're called smart pots. You can also use them to grow fruit trees, grow large trees in these. This is a 30-gallon container. And I have seen trees 4 inches in diameter growing in those kind of bags because there's such a big root system in that soil. I wouldn't necessarily encourage it, but that's what happened. So you got some flexibility there.